then you don't have to move anybody, you just have to make sure it works. But if you're going to play violin, if you're going to play music, you need to realize that that's the accomplishment. Otherwise, there's no accomplishment in music. You can play really, really fast and impress everybody, but if you didn't move them, it's not an accomplishment. And I'll tell you, that's the hardest thing to be able to do, is to move another person's heart. Second hardest thing to do is to move your own. But it's very important. So I wanted to share that with you because what I see most in education for young people is they learn a piece, and before they've even really thought about that piece, before they've really touched that piece deeply, before they get there, they move to the next one. It's like Facebook friends, you know? You just have hundreds of friends, but you never really get to know anybody, right? So what I try to do for myself as a professional, and what I try to do for my students as well, is make sure they have a repertoire of music. So they have new music that they're learning and they're eating it up and maybe not playing quite so great, but then they have their old music, maybe the music that they think is boring. But there's only one reason they think it's boring, and that's because you are not listening carefully enough. I hate to say it. But they need you. They need you to sit and listen. They need you to face them and look at them and listen to them and love it, even if they're just playing Lightly Row. Lightly Row is really beautiful if you play it well, right? You have two long bows and then two fast bows and then a slow bow. It's hard to get a beautiful sound when you do that. And then in the middle, there's a crescendo. Bum, 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 bum. It's hard to build a crescendo like that. And if you apply the same care to a crescendo in Lightly Row, or to a rest position, or to your feet together, just like my mother did for me, then you instill in your children what's important, which is to move another person, to touch their heart. And then even if they go off into the real world, where people will tell them they're not acceptable, or people will use expertise as an excuse for being a jerk, that happens, then they still have you inside of them knowing, okay, I know what's important. Even if for a while they go away and they feel like they have to be a certain way in order to impress someone, they still will come back to that. And I'm so grateful that I had that, and that I remember that. And that's very much what the Suzuki method is about. That's what the word review is about. It's not review the same way like you have to review a course because you flunked. That's not what review is. It's repertoire. And if you think about some of the great violinists, right? What do? They travel all around the world playing the same piece over and over and over again. That's why when Itzhak Perlman steps off his plane, he doesn't necessarily know whether he's going to play Mendelssohn or Bruch or Mozart or whatever, but that's because he's played the pieces probably 10 to 20,000 times in public. And then he played them probably another 10,000 times all by himself. And it gives you the opportunity to touch those pieces deeply. So I wanted to share that with you. Before I talk about some other things, do you have any questions for me about what I just said?